The Third Commandment and living the cross-centered life. The Third Commandment states, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain." God forbids idolatry not merely as a rule, but because loving the things of this world more than God is, in itself, a form of idolatry. We often believe that possessing worldly things will bring us fulfillment, but they can never fill the void in our hearts. There is a space within us that only God can fill. However, Satan deceives us into thinking that the world can satisfy us. It is from this deception that the Third Commandment, "You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain," becomes relevant. Taking God's name in vain means calling upon Him from a heart that is incapable of receiving His response. It is an empty, futile, and irreverent invocation that disregards God's holiness. One may cry out the name of the Lord 100 times, yet still be unable to truly encounter Him. When a person harbors another god in their heart, even calling on the Lord's name is done under the influence of superstition. Think about when people turn to idols. They do so to obtain something they desire. In the same way, if someone values wealth, health, or success above all else, yet calls upon the name of the Lord, they are treating God as an idol. If idolatry is the deification of false gods, taking the Lord's name in vain is the idolatry of God Himself. The real problem is not simply speaking His name in vain, but having another God seated in one's heart. When this happens, faith turns into mere superstition. If we truly recognize God as the sovereign Lord, then we must live our faith daily. If He is the only true authority, we cannot claim control over our own lives. Yet because of sin, we constantly seek to assert our own will. This is why we must crucify our self-centered nature at the cross. Likewise, if we believe that God alone truly exists, then we must live in the reality of His presence. However, sin tempts us to act as if we are self-existent beings. We must crucify this false sense of autonomy, so that the doctrine of God's presence becomes a living truth in us, something that shapes our very being. When we apply the cross to our daily lives, every theological truth becomes a living, breathing reality. Without living the cross-centered life, we may claim to believe in God while still worshipping other gods. People idolize wealth, health, success, and career advancement. Anything we strongly desire in life can easily become another god. However, even if we achieve these things, we will still not find true satisfaction and joy. Only when we live out our faith through the cross will we truly call upon the name of the Lord in reverence and truth. When we surrender our hearts entirely to God, we will genuinely encounter Him.